Welcome back. The second match of this afternoon Sunday session here at the home of World Darts at Lakeside features Killer B in John Desreumaux of Belgium against a man who had a few killer moves on the walk-on there. Donovan Lottering, the New Zealander, making his Lakeside debut. In fact, both players on debut on this stage. Nicknamed Donny, 39 years of age. Going up against the Belgian 47-year-old, as I mentioned, Killer B, also on debut. One looked a little more confident and up for it than the other one, Paul. I think that's fair to say.
I think it's very fair to say. Clash of styles, you could say, but this guy, looking at his arms, could be like the Gerwyn Price of Australian darts. I wouldn't want to run into him at speed, that's for sure. He's made us some very stern stuff. Desreumaux a little bit more reserved. Very piercing style. Interesting nickname, Killer B. Let's see what he can do. He has got a ranking title win, which is something that Donovan doesn't have. Will that be a factor in this best-of-3 set match? I know there's going to be a lot of people tuning in to see Donovan play in this match from overseas. I'll be fascinated to see what he can do.
Yeah, apologies, I attributed his nationality to New Zealand there, but that's actually where he won his ranking title, wasn't it? He was third on the WDF Australia race.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First set, first leg. Donovan to throw first.
Leader Raymond Smith, who played at the Alexandra Palace, and the man who beat him in that final of the North Queensland Classic. Be interesting to see if his darts back up the shapes he was throwing.
He's following in the footsteps of many Australian greats.
61.
Of course, there's only been one Australian winner of this title. Tony David back in 2002. A famous year where he beat Mervyn King in the final. We haven't had a Belgian winner at the Lakeside in this tournament, but we have had a Belgian World Master in Eric Claris.
We did, of course, see Simon Whitlock reach the final. Corin Hammond as well, an Australian finalist who's in action in this tournament.
96.
Got a handful. And she takes on Rhiannon O'Sullivan in the next round.
You can say that again. Ladies' tournament's going to take a bit of a twist over the next few days.
We will have an Aussie
36.
up next in Tori Kewish, taking on Scotland's Lorraine Hyde here on debut. We keep saying that more than half the players in action on Sunday here are making their debuts at the Lakeside World Championship.
The more I think about it, Murph, the more I keep thinking about 1994, where we had so many debutants that year because of the highly publicised split between the WDC and the BDO back then. And it was a fascinating event because it was so open, obviously won by John Park.
62.
And this just has the same feeling to it. I was only 14 years of age when the split happened. And I remember this event in 94 just being, well, we don't know who's going to win it. And it's the same feeling here.
Yeah, so many different names being mentioned. The number one seed in the WDF right now is James Hurrell. The winner of this match will take on Hurrell in the second round.
He was one of the people that I mentioned over the last 48 hours as a possible winner. But then again, I think I've mentioned about 20 people's names.
Well, Desreumaux does have some experience of playing against him. He lost to him in the quarterfinals of the Italian Grandmasters. We are going to see the first Italian to appear at the Lakeside World Championship in a couple of games' time as well, in Francesco Raschini, taking on Ryan de Vrede.
Wonder how many times we can get the name Roscoe in today. He is a big, lovable Italian dart player. Really looking forward to seeing Raschini play it. Big day for Italian darts. Big day for Donovan as he looks for a 167. Nice switch.
$91. John, you require 146.
Well, a big ask, but it would be some start. It's a long way away. And Lottering will have the opportunity to hold his throat
86.
in the opening leg. Should get
Donovan,
at least
you
one
require
dart at double.
76.
I wouldn't mind playing a game of cards against this guy. He is not very good at hiding his emotions. There's a lot of puffing of the cheeks in this one so far. He's evidently quite nervous. And if he'd have hit tops there, he would have felt so much better.
I think he checked his score 3 times during that visit. Well, the one advantage of missing there is that he leaves the double top bed completely open.
20.
Still can't manage to find it.
Donovan, you require 38.
So it is double 19. Nobody's favourite. So it missed by Ian Jones on a 158 in the previous match. But it is found here. Not a particularly interesting marker. Who cares when you find it with dart 2? And there you can see he's showing us just how his heart is thumping as he plays this match here.
180!
Well, it's thump, thump, thump in response from his opponent. John Desreumaux landing the first maximum of this match.
I remember watching Desreumaux
77.
win that Malta Open against John Scott. I was fascinated to see if John Scott was going to win that title. And it was John who
24.
picked up that win. Biggest win of his career to date.
It did also have a run to the quarterfinals in the Dutch Open in 2020, and that is no mean feat, is it, that tournament? One of the, well,
40.
probably is the biggest attended ranking tournament in the world.
You asked him a question earlier this morning about what was bigger, the ranking win or the run to the quarters of the Dutch Open. And for
81.
me, the better achievement, considering the grandeur of the Dutch Open, is the quarterfinals for that, because that's huge.
Yeah, it's interesting that he kind of put them on a par, winning a title with a quarterfinal in that tournament. He lost in that quarterfinal to Ross Montgomery, who could have been here but decided not to be.
100.
Do I dare ask you your thoughts on why the boss is not choosing to take his place here?
Tends to have been someone who's planted his roots in one side of the game, and he's playing
52.
in PDC stuff now. I'm not sure, maybe he's trying to take advantage of the players that are here and pick up some extra ranking money in that code at the moment. But yeah, I can't magically get into his mind, so I can't give you a proper answer.
7.
And one of the other players
John, you require
that
164.
chose not to come was Belgian, Mario van der Behare. And if he'd have been here, he would have been a pretty good shout for winning it, because he's in excellent form.
42.
Tell you what, imagine a game between Cameron Menzies and Donovan Lottering, because they're both very much like frogs in socks. They're a little bit crackers, in a good way. Just very bad at hiding
79.
how much the heart is
John, you
thumping and
require
how their nerves are
122.
jangling.
Well, we know that Menzies will take on Ian Jones after he defeated another Cameron, David Cameron. Bullseye here.
82.
Opted against it sensibly. With his opponent not on a finish. Yeah, Cameron must be kicking himself. The way that match unfolded at the end, he put himself in an incredible position for them then. I think the key moment was
John, you
when
require 40.
he was on 56 and didn't get a dart to finish.
Absolutely right. Oh, this is catching.
21.
Nobody wants to hit tops.
Donovan, you require
Keep it in double 1 instead. Not to be on dart 1, so 135 can't be taken with 2 darts. And Desreumaux now looking at 19.
40.
He should be looking south
John,
of the
you
podium,
require
Murph, but
19.
got to be careful not to pull it into the single. Well, that leaves double 5.
9. Donovan, you require 100.
Well, if he gets this, he'll feel like all his Christmases have come at once, because Desreumaux will feel he should have wrapped up this leg, and he will get the chance still to do that. But he can't be
27.
feeling happy right now.
John, you require 10.
Don't know many players who like double five.
Game shot on the second leg. John Desreumaux.
It's 1-1 in set
Third
one.
leg, Donovan to throw first. Game on.
Even though the standard hasn't been great so far, they're following a pattern of holding throw.
Yeah, he will probably feel a little bit more settled
58.
after that. He'd missed 7 darts at double before that visit.
When you go back to Australia, Murph, after playing at Lakeside,
28.
you can then tell everybody at every Open you've gone to that I've played at Lakeside. Think about some of the guys and girls who have been here before. Likes of Wayne Weening, Steve Duke Sr., who has made the quarterfinals before. Many,
77.
many more. Raymond Smith that you mentioned, he's been here previously. Tomo, Justin Thompson, is still in the tournament. He won last night against Paul Hogan.
Lottering is the first
100.
of 3 Australians in action this afternoon. Mentioned Tori Kewish already. Desi Mercer is playing Vicky Prom in the last match of the session.
Vicky Prom will be a big favourite for that one with her experience.
100.
Time will tell. I am really intrigued to see what happens tonight between Laura Turner and Mikuru Suzuki. And of course we'll get a look at
85.
Connor Scott as well. One of the players with a tour card in the PDC which has chosen to take his invitation. And a lot of people think he's got a great chance of winning this.
27.
Well, just a little bit of a struggle, this one at the moment. Both players failing to find their feet.
60.
What do you make of the action of Lottering? He seems to be checking his score after his first dart. It seems to be puzzling himself if he's not finding a treble 20. He just seems a bit lost up there.
Yeah, there's a screen to the left of stage for those who aren't aware of that shows the score you've got remaining. But it doesn't take it off after every single dart, so once you know what you need before the visit, there's no real reason to look across. It's a sign of maybe broken concentration and nerves, perhaps.
Yeah, possibly.
59.
Definitely looks a lot more comfortable when he doesn't keep deviating his vision towards the left-hand side of the stage. Desreumaux going for treble 16 to try and leave tops. He does leave tops eventually.
Donovan, you require
It'll take a big effort
140.
to stop him from getting a look at it.
Well, he didn't fancy Lottering for that big finish based on what he'd seen before, and I think actually
81.
might have been a
John,
wise
you
play.
require 40.
Tops.
Game shot on the third
No
leg.
trouble this
John
time.
Desreumaux.
It took him 9 darts to hit a double,
Fourth leg, John to throw first. Game on.
but in breaking the throw, it's straight in double top, which he intentionally set up with the previous visit, and now he's back in the red bit again.
He definitely looks the more likely to win this
83.
match at this stage. His rhythm is better. He looks more comfortable. That 1 dart kill on tops will definitely inflate his confidence. And before this match began, I would say that he was the favourite based on form as
76.
well and experience.
Well, there is Vicky Prum on the left there. We just mentioned the Swedish star. The
99.
last match of the afternoon session.
She's got a bit of time to chill out before she starts her preparations. Maybe just taking in the temperature of this playing room to get accustomed to it. This is better from Donovan.
140.
More concentrated visit there. Really good to see.
$60.
Just move them all down a tiny bit, and it would have been a 180. Again, just looking across mid-visit. It's not advisable, is it, Paul? Surely you don't want to be moving around unnecessarily.
25.
I don't think so. He almost reminds me sometimes with that somewhat proddy and rigid action when he's putting the dart into position in front of his eyes. Like Tony
95.
Davis. Tony was extremely... Oh, there's Roscoe. We'll see him a bit later this afternoon.
Yeah, and partner Deborah, who said she's more excited than he is about this
Really?
trip to the lakeside.
41.
She's more excited than he is.
John, you require
It'll be harder for
164.
her as well watching than it will be for him playing.
Absolutely true. 164 for Desreumaux. Not going to go. It's still
96.
a really good visit from the Belgian. Looking pretty comfortable to win the first set. But there you see that prodding mid-air. That does remind me of Tony David a little bit. But Tony's action was
41.
a lot more machine-like.
John, you require 68.
68 then to wrap up the opening set. 16 and double top. And in it
Game
goes
short in
once
the first
again.
set. John
And John
Desreumaux.
Desreumaux on his debut after some early nerves seems to have settled down and has won 3 legs on the spin, having lost the first to take the opening set, and he is 1 up going into the interval. Welcome back. John Desreumaux taking the opening set. And 180 in that set. And after some troubling doubling to start with, he seemed to settle down. And it doesn't look like Donovan Lottering has done the same. So Desreumaux off to a good start. He's won the last 3 legs, and Killer B certainly looking like he might sting and book his place in the second round. And a meeting with the current WDF world #1 James Hurrell, one of many players that have been tipped for a tilt at this title. Have you seen anything so far from either of these players that could trouble Hurrell?
I don't
Second
think
set,
so.
first leg. John to throw first. Game on.
Not from what I know that James Hurrell can do. He's been a very good player for quite a few years. He has had some troubles over the last
58.
few seasons with his health, but he's back now, and maybe he's better than ever. And his confidence has never ever been in question. He's got a great technique, and I think that these two will have to find a life performance to beat James Hurrell in the next round,
115.
whoever it is.
Well, Desreumaux's performance level has been improving as the game has gone on, but that's an early sign for Lottering that he
24.
might be able to put his bad luck behind him and start to get that throw going.
Well, judging by his level of consistent performance in the first set, he might have to hit the lottery.
58.
He's a good technician, is John
60.
Desreumaux. It's the kind of style, actually, and it has been puzzling me for the last 10 minutes, who he reminds me of. But he reminds me of a former finalist here in Richie Davies. Slight in stature.
123.
Delivers the dart with pace. Same sort of grip as Richie Davies. You'd love to emulate Richie Davies. Lost that to
39.
Raymond van Barneveld in a final.
Yeah, I did speak to John earlier, and I think the way I would describe him is quietly confident. He was not talking down his chances, but certainly not talking them up, but he just had an air of a man who felt he could do some damage in this tournament, and certainly a man who felt he could win this match, and it seems to be playing out that way.
Do you know any Belgian dart players who aren't confident? Especially when they hit 180s like that. That gets him back in the leg.
Require 137.
Second of the match, and it piles the pressure on Lottering.
$87. John, you require 140.
That's a really good approach from Donovan. He's going to get a look at that 50 now. Desreumaux leads
100.
tops.
Donovan, you require 50.
So which route do you want? 10 or an 18? It is the 10. To win his first leg since the first leg of the match. What a guide that is. He couldn't ask for a better one.
10.
Gave it a chance.
But he couldn't use it.
John, you require 40.
And Desreumaux popped tops in each of the last 2 winning legs, but he can't find it this time. Doesn't
Game
matter.
shot in the first leg.
In goes
John
double
Desreumaux.
10. And the run
Second leg, Donovan
continues.
to throw first.
4
Game
on the
on.
spin.
Think about Australia versus Belgium.
58.
Bit of a rivalry in darts, isn't it?
Well, I'm surprised you brought that up, Paul, to be honest, of all people.
That's pretty even over the years.
Well, there's one match that stands out
41.
more than most, and it was...
You're thinking about Whitlock versus Ronnie Highbrecht.
There's one that involved 4 players, but there were only really 2 fighting on the stage. When Mr. Nicholson decided to roll back the years and go back to his
93.
bad boy of darts persona
Just for a little while.
in a fight with Kim Highbrechts.
That wasn't a fight, it was just a conversation.
140.
Over a few trebles and doubles. Not enough doubles for me. I've been impressed with Desreumaux. He hasn't played his A game today, but it's the temperament I'm impressed with. When you make your
97.
debut on this stage, you don't know how you're going to feel. This first round is about getting through, being part of later in the week, and then using the experience of
58.
this performance to shoot forward. Oh, he's still smiling, and why wouldn't he be?
The king of the castle who defeated the old king of this particular castle. Jared Cole seeing off Wolfie Martin Adams in the opening match of the
43.
tournament yesterday. One of the best performances still. Have been some standout displays already. Rhian O'Sullivan, excellent in defeating Paula Jacklin. Jim McEwen, who won his match with the
56.
5th highest average in the history of the Lakeside World Championship.
Yeah, there haven't been a massive amount of ton plus averages here at the Lakeside stage in the World Championship. But Jim McEwen adds his name to a very illustrious list.
44.
Top of the tree is Raymond van Barneveld, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I was also looking at the highest losing averages earlier. And second highest losing average is from 1985. Keith Deller in defeat to John Lowe.
60.
I've only heard about that maybe 20 times. If I'm not mistaken, that might have been the very first ton plus average on this in this championship, and it was a losing average.
59.
Yeah, Barney
John, you
against
require
John Boyd Walton,
146.
the highest, 103.83 back in 2004.
90.
Getting to the point where Lottering is
Donovan, you require
going to have to take out
107.
shots like this.
I believe that's the case. Needs a treble 17 now. Wasn't that far away. Desreumaux, who has pitched his tent on tops and tens in this match, will definitely be looking at
37.
single 16 here.
John, you
This is
require
a shot
56.
that really cost Dave Cameron in the first match of the day. But
Game shot on the second leg.
shows how
John
it's done.
Desreumaux.
Yeah, he's actually been really
Third leg,
clinical
John to throw first.
on the doubles
Game
for the
on.
later part of this match. He was 1 out of 9 on the checkouts. Since then, he's 3 out of 4.
83.
That's world class. Like I said, I've been very impressed with the way he's gone about this debut. He's taken full advantage of the misses of his opponent.
Should correct myself. 4 out of 5,
140.
obviously.
Well, anybody who's called Killer B has got my vote. That's what we used to call
140.
some of the best players on my NFL team, because they were all named starting with B. Well, in Australia, it's all about the AFL, Australian rules football, and that's something we'll talk about
97.
with Tori Kewish, because she's decided to play darts this week as opposed to playing footy back home. She's currently in a bit of a quandary as to what to play going forward.
140.
Well, she is going to play Lorraine Hyde next.
Well, Desreumaux is playing top darts here. A very strong display during this second set, and it looks very much
24.
like it will
John,
be
you
the last
require
set.
138.
We were just talking about Keith Deller. He's not going to complete the 138.
Yeah, but he didn't hit it at late side though, did he? It was at Jolly's, one of the previous venues for this championship, back in the early 80s.
Well, only John will be feeling jolly on the stage right now.
140.
Good shot, but it could be
John, you require
nothing more
96.
than a parting shot for Donovan Lottering, who won the first leg of his Lakeside debut. Can he extend it
72.
at least a little longer?
Donovan, you require 100.
60 for tops to stay in the match. With that flight in the way, he's got to go for the 60 here. Doesn't get there.
60.
Desreumaux
John,
double
you
12.
require 24.
It may just be a matter of seconds.
Puff for the cheeks, a readjustment. And down for double 3.
18. Donovan, you require 40.
And it's 3 darts missed to wrap up the match. An unexpected opportunity. Well, we've seen him with a good guide earlier and didn't manage to make use of it. It's another perfect guide for Lottering, but
No
once again,
score.
he can't find the target.
John, you require 6.
Double 3 for the win.
Game.
Great
shot.
hit from
And the
Desreumaux. He
match.
was the better
John
player of the
Desreumaux.
two. And he goes forward to round 2.
It is delight for Desreumaux, the Belgian. Killer B shows his killer instinct and books his place in the second round. A run of 6 straight legs, having lost the first, sees him pick up a 2-0 victory over fellow debutant Donovan Lottering. Goes through to take on the world number 1, James Hurrell. Desreumaux goes through by 2-0.